These are the stories of real air traffic controllers to boldly deliver a safe, orderly, and expeditious flow of air traffic.
Is it true what I heard that the FAA came looking for you because they wanted you?
In reference,
How'd you get in the FAA, man?
well,
Probably running from the cops.
okay. First of all, this whole idea came about because for most people, I was in here before you guys, except for the old guys that are here. But there's always a fine line in the road as you're growing up. And if you take the left as opposed to the right, changes everything in your life. And when I came out of school, again, coming from the East Coast, I would hustle. Whatever I had to do to get a job, I'd lie, cheat, steal, I'd do it. And I got this little nothing job on the Apollo program. Because the lunar module that landed on the moon was built 50 miles out on Long Island. And I started on that, totally loved the job. I don't mind working 5, 6, 7 days a week.
What year was that?
1966, yeah. And the 3 astronauts, 2 weeks after I got the job, the 3 astronauts died on the launch pad, and my job just took off. And it was just the right time. And I know the books told you how to do the planning on these things, but everything was in turmoil, and I would go outside the books, again, like I would do with air traffic. And every lunar module that ever flew, I've stood in. And if you go to Space Center in Houston, the one hanging down there was the very first one I ever worked on. Okay. We landed a man on the moon. And now we were planning on moon colonization and Mars lander. And with Vietnam going on, all the funding was breaking up, was being taken away. So when we first started for 42 vehicles, and you have to plan out like 3 years to build one, it kept dropping down. And I had heard about this thing called air traffic. And you only got hired if you had previous experience. You know, most of you guys came out of the military. The first slowdowns and strikes were happening, so they opened the testing for civilians. I took the test and I passed, and that was in 1970.
It was true false back then, wasn't it? Or, no, never mind.
Yeah. True. And
Fred paid the rent on the
yeah, I didn't have a rabbi then.
Oh, you didn't?
And when I came to Houston, I really didn't have a rabbi. Anyways, so I went into New York Center, and New York is an experience in itself, and you guys can understand that. The area I was in was from the south side, from Kennedy down to Norfolk, over to Washington. And training took any place from 5 to 6 years. I was one of the faster ones. It took me about 5. And in the old days, as you were going for a check ride, they'd want to see you work in saturation traffic. And to really test you, they'd come up with this 5-foot metal garbage can and smash it down behind you. And they didn't want to see you miss a beat, because if you did, they were going to crumple you up like a piece of paper and throw you out the door. Flight service, here I come. All right. I was there for 10 and a half years. The strike was coming. The strike was coming, and I didn't think it was any good. It was going to be good, and I was ready to leave New York. They wouldn't let you out as a controller because they spent all that money training you, but they couldn't stop me if I took a position in management, and I got a job in Oklahoma City as an instructor. So, and I have a list of the guys that were instructors at the academy when the strike came down. We had like 39 instructors. And we weren't ready to handle rebuilding of the system. We never thought we could. But we did. And what got me to Houston, you lucky people, was New York was trying to order me back. And you can't turn down an order. But if I got the orders from another facility before, New York couldn't stop me. I had two higher up friends that I explained the situation and they cut me some orders for Houston. I accepted Houston, and when New York handed me the orders, I told them I was property of Houston then, and they had to negotiate with Houston. And Houston, wasn't going to give me up, the uncut diamond that I was. But I stayed at the academy for another probably 2.5 years. And I remember coming into Houston Center, reporting in, and walking up the sidewalk. And and it's incredible. I thought it was a sign. There were 10 pennies on the walk, all heads up. Of course, I picked them up and put them in my pocket.
Are you talking about the circular driving from the
Yes,
center?
yes. And I said, God, is this a sign? And I came in there, and you guys didn't know if I was animal, vegetable, or mineral for how many years. And
Still don't.
yeah, and I mean, I saw every realm of my being attacked, destroyed, and I had to rebuild. Matter of fact, at one point, an old girlfriend gave me a pin of a phoenix coming out of the fire. She says, because I've seen you rise out of the flame so many times. And I'm still flaming. Well, this whole system for the last 100 years has worked because of the people in this room and telling these stories from Wilbur and Orville on. And the job has just blossomed, and it's the perfect challenge for me, just like Apollo was. And I always enjoyed my job.
JetBlue 43, Roger, hold short of runway 22 right.